She said he was just a colleague. I believed her until I found the phone on the map. I used to think that cheating was something that happened to other people. You know what I mean, cold marriages, constant arguments. That wasn't us. At least, that's what I thought. She was my wife. Beautiful. Quick-witted. I loved her like air. So when the warning signs started appearing, late nights, a missing wedding ring, strange perfume, I convinced myself it was just stress. Emotions. I didn't know I was living with the best liar I'd ever met. And when the truth came out, it didn't just destroy my marriage. It rewrote my entire reality. Here's how I found out. I used to joke that God must have been on a lunch break when he made me, but he clocked back in just in time to make Savannah. She had the kind of looks that made waitresses forget your order, blonde hair that caught the sun just right, cheekbones like she was carved, and legs that could shut down traffic. But what really stood out, what made people remember her, was her mouth. Not just the look of it, either. I mean her words. Sharp, fast, brutal when she wanted them to be. Savannah could cut a grown man down with a single sentence and never break eye contact. We met junior year of college. I was studying civil engineering, bricks and beams, nothing fancy, and she was majoring in marketing, already dressed like she ran her own agency. I saw her at a campus open mic night. She wasn't on stage or anything, just in the crowd, laughing too loud at her friend's poem about traffic lights and heartbreak. I said something stupid, something about the poem being more tragic than romantic, and she turned, looked me dead in the face, and said, "Maybe it's only tragic to boring people." That was her version of flirting. She told me later that she never thought she'd settle down, that guys were all the same, and she didn't believe in fairy tale endings. But I made her feel safe, she said. Said I was the first person she could be real with. At the time, I thought that meant something. Looking back now, I think it meant I was easy to lie to. But those early years? They were golden. We moved in together right after graduation. Got a rental house in Traverse City with peeling shutters and a creaky back deck. I fixed it up on weekends with tools my dad left me when he passed. Savannah picked out the curtains and hung twinkly lights on the porch. Sundays became our thing. Sunday brunch turned into lazy afternoons, sometimes board games, sometimes old movies, sometimes just lying side by side not saying much at all. At night, we had our rituals. Red wine. Jazz records she'd picked out from a dusty shop downtown. She liked Miles Davis. I pretended to like it too. Our bedroom felt like a place where the world couldn't reach us. When she smiled across the sheets at me and said, "We've got something rare, Mason," I believed her. We built that life together. Bought a small place of our own just outside of town. White trim. Big yard. I put up a hammock between two trees in the back and planted her favorite flowers, peonies, around the mailbox. She said it looked like something out of a magazine. And for a long time, I thought we were happy. She still had that fire in her. That mouth. She could be harsh, sometimes downright mean, but I chalked it up to her being passionate. That's what she always said when I brought it up. "You knew I was fire, Mason. Don't act surprised when I burn a little." I let her words sting, but I told myself the heat meant we were alive. She always liked to say she hated routine, but we had one. She used to roll her eyes at them, but she always showed up for them. Until, one day, she didn't. Looking back, I wish I had taken her sharp tongue more seriously. I thought it was just a quirk, something that came with her edge. But maybe it was something darker. Maybe it was always there, just waiting for the right moment to turn cruel. We had a good life. Simple, maybe. Quiet, even. But I thought it was ours. I thought I knew my wife. I really didn't. The shift was small at first. Little things. The kind of changes you brush off when life gets busy. Her phone, for example. Used to be she'd leave it on the kitchen counter, screen up, buzzing like a mosquito. She hated when it buzzed. But one day it was face down. Then it was always face down. Then came the new password. She said it was because of company policy. I shrugged and didn't push. Seemed small at the time. Next came the late nights. Savannah had always been ambitious, so I didn't think much of her staying later at the office. She worked for an event planning company that did big corporate stuff, conferences, fundraisers, over-the-top launches for products I never used. "These clients expect miracles," she told me. "They pay big, and they want shiny." So when she said she had to stay late to finalize details or meet with clients over cocktails, I believed her. But then the outfits started changing. She used to dress sharp but practical blazers, heels, maybe a splash of color. Now it was tight pencil skirts, low-cut tops, and bright red lipstick she hadn't worn since college. I teased her about it once, and she said, "You always tell me I look good in red," which was true. But she never wore it for me anymore. The mornings got longer. The mirror in the bathroom steamed up from her hairdryer. The smell of perfume lingered for hours after she left. She started ironing her blouses again, something she hadn't done in years. "Client impressions matter," she said. "I'm just stepping it up." When I asked why she suddenly needed to step it up, she rolled her eyes. "You're being weird," she said. "I swear, Mason, you're starting to act insecure." That hit me hard. I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous husband, the overthinker. So I backed off. Told myself I was imagining it. Then came Nolan. Nolan Decker, the new guy at her office. He was one of those naturally tan types with hair that never moved, even in the wind. I met him once at a company mixer Savannah dragged me to. He shook my hand like he wanted to arm wrestle me and smiled like he'd already won. "He's harmless," Savannah said afterward, when I asked why he stood so close to her during the speeches. "He seems like the kind of guy who uses cologne as a personality," I said. She laughed. "You're jealous," she said. "That's kind of cute." Cute. That's what she called it. Over the next few weeks, I started noticing a pattern. Nolan's name came up a lot. At first, it was funny stories from work. That sort of thing. But soon it became every conversation. "Nolan said this. Nolan thinks that. Nolan's crazy, but he's actually really smart." I stopped laughing. Then came the gym thing. Savannah had never been a big gym person. Her workouts were usually yoga videos in the living room. But suddenly, she had a membership at this new upscale gym across town. One of those places with eucalyptus towels and smoothies that cost more than dinner. She bought new workout gear, expensive stuff, and said she needed to start investing in herself. I asked if she was going with anyone. She said, "Sometimes the girls from work." Why? That tone again. That edge. "You're acting really possessive lately." I bit my tongue. I didn't want to fight. But it was eating me alive. She stopped asking about my day. Stopped caring about my project deadlines or my dumb stories about software bugs. If I asked her about her day, she gave short answers, or worse, distracted ones. Her eyes stayed on her phone more than they ever looked at me. One night, I caught her smiling at a text and asked, "Was that Nolan?" She didn't answer right away. "What if it was?" she said finally. "You think I'm doing something wrong?" And that was it. She flipped the whole conversation, made it about my trust issues, like I was the problem for noticing she had changed. Looking back now, I don't know what I hated more, that she was lying, or that she was so good at it I almost didn't see it. It was a Friday, early fall. Savannah came downstairs in a black dress I didn't recognize. Tight at the waist, low in the back. Her hair was curled in that big, bouncy way that made her look like she belonged in some glossy magazine spread. I looked up from my laptop and said, "You're really going all out for a fundraiser." She smirked. "Big name client. It's at Birch and Oak. Fancy wine, tiny portions. You know the deal." I nodded, but something about it stuck in my gut. Birch and Oak was one of those high-end places where even the salt looked expensive. We'd gone there once, for our 3rd anniversary. Her favorite part was the dessert, chocolate ganache with some kind of raspberry foam. She posted it on Instagram with the caption, "Feeling spoiled by my man." Now she was going without me. I didn't say anything, just watched her apply lipstick, deep red again, the kind she wore on nights she wanted attention. She grabbed her clutch and was gone with a quick, "Don't wait up." I sat on the couch, still holding my coffee even though it had gone cold. Something wasn't right. I couldn't explain it, but it hit me square in the chest. A kind of silence that felt loud. I pulled on a hoodie and grabbed my keys. If she was just working, then fine. I'd grab a burger nearby and surprise her at the end. But deep down, I knew I wasn't going there to bring her flowers. The drive to Birch and Oak was quiet. I kept running through excuses in my head. Maybe she needed to charm a big donor. Maybe Nolan just happened to be there, seated across a crowded table. Maybe I was just jealous. Overthinking. The restaurant was buzzing. I walked in, nodded at the hostess like I belonged there, and scanned the room. She wasn't there. I asked casually if the Westbridge fundraiser was still going on. The hostess blinked and said there hadn't been one scheduled that evening. I sat at the bar, ordered a club soda, and waited. Checked the parking lot. Checked the restroom signs. I even asked if Savannah had a reservation. Nothing. 2 hours passed. I tried calling her twice. Straight to voicemail. Not even a ring. Then I checked Instagram. Not her page. She was too careful for that. But her friend Tasha, the one who always posted every meal, every outfit, every girl's night out moment. And there it was. A story from 25 minutes earlier. Rooftop bar. Laughing. Clinking glasses. Savannah in that black dress, hair perfect, leaning into Nolan. His arm around her shoulder. Her hand resting on his thigh like it belonged there. They were smiling like they didn't have a care in the world. My stomach dropped. It felt like someone had taken a match to my chest and held it there. I sat in my truck for 10 more minutes, staring at the photo, watching it loop. Laugh. Clink. Lean. Laugh. Clink. Lean. When she came home, well after midnight, I was sitting at the kitchen table. No lights on except the stove clock. She walked in humming, took off her heels at the door, saw me and froze. "Hey," she said, trying to keep her voice light. "You scared me. Good night at the fundraiser?" I asked, calm as I could manage. She paused. "Yeah, it went late. Sorry, I should have texted." I stood. "Funny. I stopped by Birch and Oak. You weren't there. No fundraiser either. Weird, huh?" She blinked fast. "It got moved. Last minute. You know how these things go." I didn't say anything. Just looked at her. And then she cracked. Tears. Right on cue. She dropped her purse on the floor and covered her face like she was in a movie. "I didn't mean for it to look bad," she sobbed. "Nolan's going through a breakup. He didn't want to be alone. He needed someone to talk to." I stared at her like I was seeing a stranger. "You put your hand on his leg while you were cheering him up?" She shook her head. "It wasn't like that. I swear. I was trying to help him. It got emotional. He cried. I comforted him. That's all. I wanted to yell. I wanted to flip the table. But I just stood there. I wanted to believe her. God help me, I did believe her. Or at least, some part of me wanted to. Because the alternative was worse. That the woman I built a life with was lying to my face without a hint of shame. That was mistake number one. The Monday after the rooftop incident, things were quiet. Too quiet. Savannah acted like nothing had happened. She made coffee, hummed in the kitchen, even packed me a sandwich like she used to when we first got married. I think that's what made it worse. How normal she tried to make everything feel. She left her coat on the back of the dining chair that night. It was the olive green one with the gold buttons. The one she wore when she wanted to look important, but still effortless. I was clearing the table after dinner. She'd cooked her go-to garlic butter pasta and acted like we were back to our normal routine. As I went to hang the coat by the door, something crinkled in the pocket. I pulled it out, thinking it was a receipt for groceries or takeout. It wasn't. It was from the Marlowe Hotel. 2 nights. Corner suite. Room service. Breakfast for 2. Champagne. Chocolate-covered strawberries. The dates were from the weekend before. The same weekend she told me she was crashing early from work exhaustion. I read it once. Twice. The third time, my eyes caught the handwriting at the bottom. "Thank you for choosing the Marlowe. We hope to see you again soon." My chest tightened like a clamp. I stood there holding that slip of paper like it was a live wire. I don't remember walking back into the kitchen. I just remember Savannah rinsing plates, wearing that same casual smile like she hadn't just stepped on my heart a few days before. "Have fun at the Marlowe?" I asked. She turned, confused. "What?" I held up the receipt. Didn't say another word. She blinked, paused, then did what she always did, acted like I was overreacting. "Oh, that? I booked that for a client. Last-minute conference booking. I must have forgotten it was in there." I didn't move. "You booked a 2-night suite," I said. "With champagne. And breakfast for 2. They like to feel spoiled. You know how these big spenders are. Did you stay there?" There it was again, that hesitation. Then, only the first night. I got in late and figured it wasn't worth driving home. "You didn't tell me." She shrugged. "It wasn't a big deal." That was the moment I snapped. I didn't yell like people do in movies. It came out rough and cracked, like a pipe finally bursting after too much pressure. "You lied to my face," I said. "Again. You lied." She started crying. Real tears this time. Or at least, they looked real. She sat down at the table like her legs gave out. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I should have told you. It wasn't what you think. I just needed space. I didn't know how to say that without hurting you." I paced. I had no idea what to do with my hands. Every nerve in my body was buzzing. I wanted answers. I wanted honesty. But mostly, I wanted the version of Savannah I used to know to walk through the door and make this all go away. We didn't talk for 3 days. 3 full days of moving through the house like shadows. She worked late. I didn't want to believe it. I wasn't ready. So, on the 4th day, I sat her down. No anger. Just a hollow kind of tired. "Okay," I said. "Let's move forward. Just tell me the truth. I can handle it. If something happened, I need to know. I need to hear it from you. She looked me dead in the eyes. Swore it was nothing. Swore again it was work. That it looked bad, but it wasn't bad. That she'd never hurt me. And I wanted to believe her so badly I let myself nod. I let myself accept it. That was mistake number 2. I chose peace over pain. And I've never regretted anything more. It happened on a Saturday morning. Savannah had just come back from the gym, or so she said. She walked in with her leggings and oversized hoodie, earbuds still hanging from her neck, hair tied up, cheeks pink like she'd just come from a jog. She tossed her gym bag near the laundry room and headed for the shower. I bent down to grab the bag and move it out of the walkway, and that's when it happened. The zipper was half open. The side pocket must have caught on something and tilted. The whole thing tipped over, spilling out a pair of gloves, a scrunched-up receipt, and something that didn't belong. A phone. Not her phone. Not the iPhone with the floral case and little pop socket she carried around like an extra limb. This one was older. Chunky. Cracked screen. A black prepaid kind of phone, the kind teenagers buy when they're hiding things from their parents. It buzzed once. My heart stopped. I picked it up. The screen lit up. No lock screen. No password. It was still on. I don't know what made me open it. Maybe I knew, deep down. Maybe I didn't want to, but my hands moved before my brain caught up. I tapped into the messages. There were 2 conversations pinned to the top. The first one was with a number saved as in. No full name. Just a single letter. But I didn't need more than that. The first message I read said, "Miss you already, babe. Last night was super." The next one had a photo. I recognized our bed in the background. Our sheets. Our headboard. But she was there. And so was he. I dropped the phone onto the table like it had bitten me. My stomach twisted. My hands started to shake. I picked the phone back up and scrolled further. There were voice notes. Her voice. Sweet. Laughing. "You better not be talking to anyone else, mister. I'll come find you." Then another, "That little spot on your shoulder still smells like me." "I bet it does. Don't wash it off yet." I kept scrolling. There were plans. Weekend getaways. Mentions of our place, and next time let's stay longer. I opened the photo gallery. Dozens of photos. Hotel rooms. Apartments. Her laying across couches I'd never seen, in clothes I'd never noticed missing. Poses that made my skin crawl. All with Nolan. It wasn't just casual. It wasn't just one mistake. It was a full-blown relationship. A second life. And I'd been a fool. I stood in the middle of our kitchen gripping the counter with both hands. Breathing heavy. My legs didn't feel steady. I wanted to confront her right there. March upstairs, bang on the bathroom door, shove the phone in her face, and demand an explanation. But something told me not to. She'd lie. She always did. And this time, I wasn't going to give her the chance. I sat down at the kitchen table, opened my laptop, and started forwarding everything to myself. Screenshots. Photos. Messages. I recorded the voice notes using my phone. Backed it up to a hard drive. I didn't know exactly what I was doing yet, but I knew I needed proof, something she couldn't worm her way out of. I placed phone back in the gym bag exactly how I'd found it. Closed the zipper. Shoved the receipt and gloves back in too. Savannah came downstairs 10 minutes later with wet hair and asked if I wanted pancakes. Like it was any other Saturday. I told her sure. And I sat at the table, eating pancakes I could barely taste, nodding along to her small talk, while the proof of everything she was hiding sat 10 feet away in her gym bag. The entire time, I was planning. I picked the restaurant on purpose, Luciano's, Savannah's favorite steakhouse. White tablecloths, dim lighting, the kind of place where they put lemon in your water and call you sir like you invented the word. We used to come here once a year, maybe twice if things were good. Last time we went was on our 4th anniversary. She came downstairs dressed like she was about to win something. Tight red dress, heels high enough to make her taller than me, makeup done to perfection. She smiled when she saw me waiting at the door and said, "What's the occasion?" "I figured we deserved a night out," I said. She grinned. Finally. Something fun. The whole drive there, my heart beat like a drum inside my chest. I knew what I was walking into, and I think she thought it was just another attempt for me to win her back, to salvage whatever was left. We got seated near the back, corner booth. Candle flickering. Silverware that probably cost more than my first car. The waiter came, and Savannah ordered her usual, medium-rare filet with truffle fries, house red. I stuck with water. My stomach was too tight to even think about food. We made small talk for a while. She told me about a client who wanted a winter-themed gala in April. I nodded and smiled and said, That's wild. Like I hadn't seen the messages she sent Nolan the night before. Like I hadn't heard her whisper in that recording. Next time, let's stay till Monday. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I know, Savannah, I said steady. She blinked. Know what? I know about Nolan. The hotel. The messages. The other phone. She froze, then leaned back and narrowed her eyes like she was preparing a counterattack. You've been spying on me? I gave you 100 chances to tell the truth. She smirked. Actually smirked. Mason, you're being paranoid. You're creating drama in your head. Maybe you should talk to someone about that. I blinked. What? You need help, she said. You've been acting unhinged for months. Always suspicious, always watching me. It's exhausting. I stared at her. Her voice was low, calm, rehearsed, like she was trying to win a debate, not explain a betrayal. I opened my jacket, reached into the inner pocket, and pulled out her phone. I set it gently on the white tablecloth between us. Still think I'm making it up? Her face went pale. She reached for the phone, then yanked her hand back like it was burning her. Her lips parted, but nothing came out. For a full 10 seconds, she said nothing. Then she snapped. I can't believe you went through my things. That's my privacy, Mason. You violated me. People turned their heads. A couple 2 tables over stopped chewing. Savannah's voice climbed higher. You went through my personal things like some creep. You don't trust me? You don't deserve me. I sat still, calm. Let her unravel. She slammed her hand on the table, knocking over her wine glass. Red soaked the white linen like blood. The waiter rushed over, but she waved him off. You know what your problem is? She yelled. You're boring. Predictable. Safe. Nolan makes me feel alive. He sees me. You? You just follow me around like a lost dog. Someone at the next table started filming. I saw the reflection of a phone camera in the mirror behind her. I wasted years trying to fit into your little idea of marriage, she spat. And now what? You want to act like a victim because I found something better? I stood up slowly, reached into my pocket, took off my ring, set it down beside the phone. People were still watching, whispering, recording. Savannah's face was red now, not from embarrassment, but rage. I looked at her one last time. The woman who used to share peanut butter sandwiches with me on the porch, who once danced in our kitchen barefoot. I didn't recognize her anymore. I walked out without another word. Didn't even bother validating the parking ticket. The night air hit my face like a slap, but I didn't flinch. It was over. Not just the dinner. Not just the fight. The whole thing. After that night, I packed what I needed and left. I didn't want a dramatic goodbye or another speech. I just loaded a few bags into my truck, clothes, laptop, old photos of my dad, and drove to stay with Theo, my college roommate. He had a spare room and didn't ask too many questions, just handed me a beer and said, "When you're ready, man." The quiet in that room hit different. No Savannah talking to her curling iron in the bathroom, no smell of her citrus shampoo, just silence and the hum of my thoughts. I thought the worst was behind me. I was wrong. After we broke up, rumors spread faster than leaves in the wind. A little time passed, and everyone knew about our breakup. It started with a text from my friend Tyler, who works in IT and once helped set up Savannah's email for her work laptop. You okay, man? He asked. Because I just remembered something weird from last year. Turned out Savannah had asked him, very casually, about how to clear browsing history across devices. Not just on her phone, on the cloud. He thought it was about a surprise gift or something. I laughed when I read that. That word kept coming back. Then came the ex-client. Savannah once worked on a campaign for a high-end kitchen design firm. The CEO, some guy named Barrett, used to send her floral arrangements for hard work. I didn't think much of it. Thought it was tacky, but harmless. Apparently not. One night after dinner, while I was doing dishes, I heard her giggling in the other room. She said she was texting her sister about a funny meme. I believed her. Turns out, Barrett wasn't just sending flowers. He'd flown her to Chicago for a conference. Funny, I didn't know conferences involved spa robes and hotel balconies. I didn't ask for all this information. It just kept showing up. Like the truth had been waiting for me to open the door before barging in. Trevor was next. He called me and asked if he could come over. I didn't mind. He showed up with beer and wings like old times, but something in his eyes was off. He said, "There's something I gotta tell you, and I should have told you a long time ago." Our housewarming party. The one where I grilled burgers on the back deck while Savannah made margaritas in the kitchen. I remembered laughing with my buddies, flipping patties. I thought it was one of those perfect days. Apparently, Savannah cornered Trevor inside, alone, and got way too flirty. Touching his arm, leaning in close, whispering something about how he smelled like trouble. He pushed her off and laughed it off. Didn't want to blow up my night. Didn't want to cause drama. So he kept it to himself. "I'm sorry," he said. "I should have said something." Then my brother, Jake. We don't talk often. Not because we don't like each other, just different lives. He works construction down in Indiana, has 3 kids and a calendar full of youth sports. But when he heard from Mom what happened, he called me. Said he wasn't sure if it mattered now, but one Christmas, years ago, back when Savannah and I were still engaged, he caught her drinking too much by the fireplace. Everyone else had gone to bed. She sat next to him and started talking about how handsome he was, then leaned in and kissed him. He shoved her away, went to bed, and never told anyone. Said he didn't want to destroy my relationship over one messed up moment. Thought maybe she was just drunk and stupid. I listened to him talk, holding the phone with both hands like it might float away. When he stopped, I thanked him. He didn't know what else to say, and neither did I. That was when it sank in. This wasn't just about Nolan. Nolan was just the one who got caught. Savannah had been living double lives long before him. Bartenders, clients, friends, family, any attention that gave her a thrill, a little escape, a spark to chase. It didn't matter who she hurt. It didn't even matter who I was. She wasn't just unfaithful. She was compulsive. And the scariest part? She was good at it. Too good. All that time I thought we were building something. Turns out I was patching holes in a wall she'd already decided to knock down. The divorce wasn't fast. Wasn't clean. And it definitely wasn't easy. I thought once the truth came out, once I had the messages and the photos and the second phone, it'd be over quick. Like dropping a match on a soaked log. But Savannah didn't go quietly. She got herself a lawyer who looked like he walked straight out of a department store catalog and started spinning a story that barely resembled real life. Said I was controlling. Said I was emotionally distant. Claimed I monitored her movements and tracked her phone, twisting the truth until it barely resembled anything I recognized. She felt unsafe, the lawyer told mine during a preliminary hearing. Unsafe. That one got under my skin. I hadn't even raised my voice until that night in the kitchen. I was the one who tiptoed around her moods, who let her insults slide, who tried to make peace with pancakes and porch swings. I was the one trying to build a life. She was the one tearing holes in it. My lawyer, though, her name was Deanna, she didn't flinch. Short woman, mid-50s, glasses that looked too small for her face, and an expression like she'd seen every kind of lie 100 times. She looked over my pile of evidence, the burner phone, the screenshots, the emails, the voice recordings, and said, flat as toast, we're not settling. She's not getting a thing she didn't earn. And she didn't. Savannah tried to fight for the house. Claimed she deserved a fresh start. Deanna showed the judge the photos, Savannah on our couch with Nolan, Savannah at a hotel pool with another man's hand on her knee. She claimed emotional abuse. We showed her messages to Nolan calling me dull and convenient. When the gavel dropped, I got the house. I kept my truck, my tools, and most of the savings we had left after the legal dust settled. What I really walked away with, though, was silence. No more excuses. No more lies. No more guessing which version of my wife would walk through the door next. About a month after the papers were signed, I got the email. I was sitting on the back porch, a light breeze pushing the wind chimes just enough to sound like a half-forgotten melody. I was sipping a glass of cheap whiskey, watching the sky burn orange over the trees. My phone buzzed. It was from her. Subject line, just one thing. I stared at it for a good 5 minutes before I opened it. Mason. I made a mistake. I thought I was chasing something new, something exciting, but I didn't realize what I had until I lost it. Nolan stopped returning my calls. He moved to Denver. I haven't seen him in weeks. I miss us. I miss how you made me feel calm even when I didn't deserve it. You were always safe. That was the line that stuck with me. Safe. Not loved. Not needed. Not wanted. Just safe. Like I was a hotel lobby she could sit in when the weather turned bad. A fire exit she kept marked in case things got smoky. It hit me hard. Not because I wanted her back, but because I finally understood what I'd meant to her all along. I wasn't her partner. I was her cushion. Her fallback. Her steady thing to return to when the thrill ran dry. I didn't reply. Instead, I poured another inch of whiskey. I leaned back and watched the sky dim from orange to pink to purple, and I breathed in something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. Some mistakes don't deserve a second chance. Some bridges don't need rebuilding. And some people don't change, they just get better at hiding who they are. Savannah wasn't a mystery anymore. She was an answer I had to stop questioning. And love? Real love? It's not supposed to feel like a guessing game. I gave her every chance. Gave her grace, patience, forgiveness, and truth. She gave me lies, silence, and fireworks that burned out fast and left smoke behind. So now I've got my house. And most of all, I've got my freedom. Share your thoughts in the comments. Has anyone ever tried to come back after betraying you? What did you do? If you liked the story, subscribe to the channel and give us a like.